Good morning, everybody. Welcome to a live special Star Wars event. This is Dan Take Leon coming to you live from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Joining me today is Jesse Miyashiro from Denver, Colorado, I believe.
Close enough.
Close
The,
enough.
the only time zone no one talks about.
So today's going to be fun. We got U.S. Nationals coming to you live from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Looks like the players are ready to go, so let's go ahead and get into it. Justin, what do you like for today?
So I expect the big decks of the day to be Obi-Wan communing, and still probably Thrawn. Now the Obi-Wan communing deck has been really popular the last, I don't know, month or so on Gem. Really kind of came into its own with the Set 21 preview card. I can't believe he's gone V. Um, not like an enormous boost to the deck, but kind of just a little incremental thing that kind of pushed it over the top to get people to look at it again and go, oh, hey, this deck's actually pretty good. I like that there's a couple of different builds of it that I've seen. I've been using the one that can use Like My Father Before Me, because that card's insane. I know I've seen some of the other players using just Saitor and playing a bunch of their own guns. I've seen, I think, a speeders version or a space version. There's a couple of different ways to go about it, so it's an interesting deck to see. And
It
then
is.
Thrawn is still, I mean, I think Thrawn is still good based on what I saw from the March CS stats posted by Eka Base Trooper. Um, Thrawn was still the most popular deck in OCS by almost twice as much as the next deck. Now, on the other hand, it did only have a 47% win percentage, so it might not actually be the best choice. It's tough to say. Those numbers you can use to like lean in directions, but it doesn't say definitively what the best deck is necessarily. But certainly it's popular. I expect a lot of people will play it. Certainly, I think everyone has to be ready for it with their light side, and it is one of the strengths of the Obi-Wan communing deck that it matches up pretty well against Thrawn. It's not a slam dunk, but really nothing's a slam dunk. That's why the deck's good. So
Okay. So, well, like I said, the players are ready. So let's go ahead and get into game one. Game one, we have Cal Aldred on light side. And then we have on dark side Ming Hao. Thrawn versus Obi-Wan Community. You just called it. It's funny to see that.
I expect that we would see. I would honestly expect that we'd see a lot of that particular matchup. So we'll dig around later in the day and try to find something interesting.
Yeah. Okay. So again, Cal is going to be our light side player. He is on Obi Communing. Ming is on dark side with Thrawn. So game one, the two big decks right now and what people are playing in the meta. I kind of like that. So what? And you said that the Obi-Wan Communing deck matches up against Thrawn. Why is that?
So the biggest reason is that it leans a lot on an interior battleground on the Cantina most of the time. And most of the Thrawn decks lean heavily on walkers for their ground package. So you'll be able to do kind of whatever you want in the Cantina, and there's not a lot that Darkseid can use to come at you. Obi-Wan commuting, because of the Obi-Wan's hut site, also has protection from like Mara Jade with lightsaber, because they can reduce a permanent weapon destiny to make it tougher for a splash ground package to do a lot of damage against them. Now, Ming has started the Yoda's, or no, sorry, Cal has started the Yoda's hut as the communing site. Communing, while it needs you to start one of the sites that has communing in game text, you don't have to start the same site that matches with the communing Jedi. So he started Yoda's hut, probably floating Obi-Wan's hut because of Return of a Jedi V, which lets you pull the Yoda's hut, the Obi-Wan's hut rather. So you just get some extra activation and get to use a really good puller. Looks like Ming got Grand Admiral Thrawn, and is that Admiral Ozzel, the other pilot on the Chimera?
Yes, it does look like Ozzel.
Okay. So Ming setting up at Kessel. Kessel, a pretty important system for Thrawn to play these days, just because you need to be able to play Thrawn on turn one. And the communing deck, one of the strengths of it is it doesn't give up any icons on turn one. So Dark needs to be able to use only 6 force to play all its stuff out, which Ming did. Now Ming looks like is playing the code clearance. Do we have a code clearance effect?
Mm-hmm.
That's one of I think the two major versions of Thrawn. Probably the more popular one. The other option that you could run is Imperial Arrest Order, which I personally prefer because it gets your activation more consistently. On the other hand, your characters are not as good. The ability 3 Imperials are, I think, in general, stronger than the ability 2 ones. The ability 2 ones are cheaper. It's kind of the trade off there.
Yeah, and I mean there are like the ability to ones. There are some good ones. I know. I think you ran the same deck at one of your locals out in Denver, where you play like uh, a few different biker scout or no biker scouts, but I've seen people play the biker scouts.
You can do the biker scouts. I believe MHT had the
Mhm.
Matt Harrison trainer had the biker scouts in his version. Really the efficiency angle with it is that you get to play a bunch of characters that deploy for 2, add 2 power, and have 7 forfeit. So you have like Officer Evax, you have Wolf Yularen, you can play DS-61-5, even Admiral Oslo that you play regardless of which version you're playing becomes a forfeit 6.
Mhm.
Um, Captain Kurgi forfeit 6, Commander Nemeth forfeit 6. So you get to load up your ships with forfeit fodder in a similar way that the code clearance one does. The code clearance one just you get so much more forfeit because you have a bunch of ability 3 characters that you're kind of already playing.
Yeah.
So Cal looks like because he's playing the Yoda version, he's not playing Like My Father Before Me. I think that's a Saitor, the white bordered card with the black half slip behind, I assume, Walkling. And then he's got the promotional version of I Must Be Allowed to Speak. I like that it stands out and it looks awesome. So he has pulled Mos Eisley and the farm, and he's going to go with Lando.
Yeah, I mean Lando coming down kind of early like that. I'm not really sure if I like that. Lando is a pretty weak character. I mean, he's only ability 3. He's easily to be trampled. Like, I really want to see Cal come down with something else as well. Now, you do get the use pile pool, but it looks like he's just drawing cards.
I mean, I think the big strength of Lando for the uh as like the first deploy here, um, one of the big weaknesses of Thrawn is it is pretty slow.
Mm-hmm.
Once it gets everything going, it has pretty decent activation, but we see Ming did not find and accelerate to get his blockade flagship bridge out on turn 1. So he's a little behind the ball on the activation where he'd like to be, and it just takes a while to get all of it out. And because you're so incentivized to do your drain every turn with Thrawn, you end up paying for battle plan every turn. It just takes a while to get it all going. So a lot of it also means because everything's really expensive in the deck, you don't get to draw cards for like the first 2 turns.
Yeah.
Like Ming didn't draw any cards on turn 1; he couldn't. He had to use all of it. So playing Lando aggressively like this is kind of interesting because you might actually be able um, to hold that site for a turn because Dark just can't afford to attack you.
No, I mean, if he comes down, okay, so you were just saying that Ming needs to drain, and he just does. And Cal stacks Skywalker's on there, and it looks like he loses dodge to the drain. No, I mean, but the thing is, though, Cal has no force saved to play a barrier. The dodge went to the lost pile. So it's almost like he's putting himself into a risky position. Like if Ming is able to come down with, say, if he comes down with like a Vader Dark, Vader and Emperor's Enforcer, he's gonna have a bad time.
Well, see, the thing is, though, and this is what we're talking about, right? So Ming used all his force the previous turn. He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 this turn. He just spent 3 to drain. So Vader Emperor's Enforcer. So like the interesting thing about Lando here is as long as you're not expecting a huge beat squad, Lando actually is fine on his own. Even if Ming pulls a retrieval shield, which I assume he would if he attacked. Vader Emperor's Enforcer, right? The best probably single card that you could use to attack Lando here. You can cancel his text so he doesn't get the destiny, but he still covers 13 because he has 6 power and 7 forfeit. So you're not going to overflow Lando. Like even
No,
I think even if you Blizzard forward with Vader, you'd have to draw a 6, which the deck runs maybe 1 or 2 of to actually overflow Lando. So I think this is actually a kind of a safe play.
Okay, there's Tarkin's bounty going on to looks like Ozzel.
Now, the really dangerous thing, if you're Cal, would be if Ming did not pay the drain. Given that he just pulled
Yeah.
General Veers, that would mean he's probably got a Veers and a Walker to beat you up with, and that would be really bad. So,
And he does take looks like he took a Blizzard 8.
yeah, that's a Blizzard 8.
So Veers and a Walker, not a bad spot, but at the same time, like you were saying, it costs a lot of force.
Yeah.
And Ming doesn't have that. Now the question is Cal going to drain? It is only a drain of 1.
So Ming's going to have, or sorry, Cal's going to have 12 force on his turn to play with. I would guess he's probably not going to pay to drain for 1. Thrawn is incentivized to drain because that's how you flip. You need to stack cards on the artwork. But Obimuning draining for 1 just causes a damage. It doesn't do a whole lot for him. So I would guess he's not going to. I guess the potential wrinkle in that is a drain puts force in his use pile, and his deck has a lot of use pile pulls. So could give you more choices with what you want to pick up with Ray or something like that.
Yeah, there's the Cantina, so he doesn't drain. Only problem with the Cantina is he's giving Ming 2 extra icons, so Ming's going to have more force to work with on his next turn. And you got to think that he's going to come down eventually with Veers and the Walker.
Yeah. Now Veers and the Walker, as we said, can't go into the Cantina, so there's some help there. But yeah, I like that a lot of these decks these days are leaning on these like 2/2 sites that are a double-edged sword. Like I like that we seem to have moved away a bit, or at least the meta has moved away a bit from 2/1 drain +1 sites.
Yeah, that's one thing that design has been doing a really good job on.
Yeah, just like if you want to cause damage, you have to give up icons. Like I like that trade-off. I think that's good.
Yeah.
So
okay, there's the I can't believe he's gone. That's the new set 21 card that came out recently.
Yep. And a card that fits in Obi-Wan Communing, but I feel like a lot of people initially were thinking about how to start it, but I feel like the general consensus has been no, you just float it because it's a Destiny 5. It's not a bad Destiny in your deck.
No.
You just play like 2 of them, and you can find it with a use pull, or you can just randomly draw it. So there's the Ray getting a use pile pull. He is only going to use pile pull the 4 cards, so he didn't drain.
Yeah. I mean, I like him not draining there, like because you know that Ming is going to drain. So I think he just needs to compile all the cards he can, get some of his force. And I'm not saying like deck force. I'm saying like his buildup of like his army essentially. On the table.
Now I noticed something. I believe Ming pointed as his objective last turn, and I think we saw a lot of his deck that way. He didn't have a location to pull with that, I don't think. So that's I don't know if that's telling. So like my version of Thrawn has a second system. Usually it's Kashyyyk.
And funny enough, he had the system, it was just in his force pile.
Yeah. Now the other thing though, my version of Thrawn also runs a site. I also run the 2/2 site.
And I know a lot of people have differentiated on that opinion, like bouncing between the second site, the capital city, so you can get a drain of 2 in, versus forcing them to go to the 1/1 site where you have General Veers and Walker.
Yeah. I'm honestly not sure which is better, like running a 4th system rather, or running the extra, or running the second site. Like I haven't decided which is better. So we got Anakin's lightsaber on Rey, right?
Al going full white border today.
Yeah, except with the Rey, which is weird because he can tell he has a white bordered he has a white bordered Corellian as the backing slip for Rey, so she could be white bordered.
She could. Ryan Saracen right now is just screaming at Cal internally, like you have a white border undercard, but you have a black border card on top.
Isn't Yoda's hut from Dagobah, that set came in white bordered, right?
It did.
He's not. Yeah, he's not going all the way.
And just got the word from up on high from Jared Napolitano. We're going to be able to give away 6 foil full art Din Djarin slips today on stream.
Can I get one?
I don't know. We're gonna do some trivia. If you're good at trivia, maybe.
Is it the preview art one or is it a different one?
I
Do you
don't
know?
know.
Okay.
Whatever Jared is giving us.
I'll say because I can turn around and I've got this one. So that's
Volunteers
the
get stuff.
yeah. This is the playtesting version one.
Non-AI.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I think the one that you have is also from the VSET 4 that Menzel and Kevin Yop did.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so Cal
Ooh.
does drain. There goes oh, losing the Honshu and the Falcon to the drain. That kind of hurts.
Now the plus side of that is that there's no retrieval shield out for Ming.
Yeah.
So
And Cal will immediately retrieve it with looks like he places the Walkling out of play.
yeah, that makes sense.
He does stack a white border escape pod, but again, it's a white border escape pod with a black border on top. I mean, that's just
Yeah, I no the more triggering thing, Ryan, is definitely a white bordered backing card with a black bordered backing card with a white bordered slip. Particularly for a card that doesn't come in white border. That's I had actually I had a Sith Fury with a white bordered slip on it once for a little bit before they errated it and I had to change it. But
hey, Ming decides he wants to go here. There's Blizzard 8 with Veers on top as the pilot. The only thing I don't like is Cal's getting 2 Destiny there. His total battle Destiny is going to be +1.
well, but
Never
if
mind, there's a trample.
oh,
So
okay.
and perimeter scan from Cal, so that will cancel the trample. The perimeter scan also goes lost. Yeah, I don't know if this is a team 5 thing where they just play like the wrong slips on the wrong card, but
I don't think it's the wrong slip.
well, I'm not saying the wrong slip. I'm saying the wrong border. I mean, we see that like in the chat, Bill is saying that the battle plan shield, the slip is skewed, and I can't tell from here, but it looks like it's the full blue one and not the one that merges like the blue into the red. And
I
if
think
that's the case, that's a little tilting as well.
I don't think battle plan comes with this. Excuse me. I don't think battle plan comes with a C slip shield.
It does.
Really?
It does. No, wait, no, it doesn't. You're right.
Yeah, see, I think the C slip shields are the ones where the shield is different than what the text on the regular shield, like where there's a V shield.
But what I'm saying is the half slip. There's one where it just you it goes from blue into red on the slip. Kind of like the ones like say if like Vader Emperor's Enforcer has that little bit of red on the slip.
Yeah, the C slips all do that. I can't tell from here if the battle plan does or not because it's a half one, so it's
the foil. According to Chris Kelly, the foil for the retro event was a C slip.
There you go. I didn't know about that one, or at least I don't have that one because I don't.
You should have did well into the in the retro event.
But then I would have had to play a retro event.
What's wrong with playing in a retro event? So Cal he will Cantina shuffle Ray and Lando into the Cantina. He drains. He should be draining for 3. I know that Ming lost a Destiny 6 image of the Dark Lord off the top. I did not see what the second one is. And here's where the pain begins.
The other one was a history, philosophy, and art. Yeah, Master Luke V. And this is the other reason that Obi-Wan commuting matches up well against Thrawn, is Thrawn has some ability for 4+ characters, but not a lot of them.
No.
And it very commonly will go down without them.
Ming realizing, oh, this card is really bad against me as he picks it up. Leia, General Leia. Not a white border card in the least.
Could be.
It could be. Cal getting his use pile pools. This is going to be really bad for Ming because I can see Cal getting a second Destiny. He's not going to get Destiny at all.
And Ming's used all of his force. He can't even like grab a leadership.
Mm-hmm. No, he's got one left. It's
Does
just he's using black sleeves on
he?
black mat.
If you're gonna play in a live major, please don't use black sleeves.
Well,
or
I
or
think,
just or just don't do well enough to get on camera. So,
but this is also game one.
Yeah.
And not everybody can afford to get custom sleeves like Brian Fred or Carl.
If you get them from them, I think it's cheaper than regular Dragon Shields, I think.
Maybe. Now I will say this: like, if the PC, what the PC could do is give out like full sets of sleeves. Like, if you register with like a certain amount of like over, like you get a full set of sleeves, kind of like what Magic does for like all their RCQs and stuff. But
yeah,
that's
but
just more work for Jared.
And
we
Magic, they have a deal with Ultra Pro or whatever, so they've got a ton of those.
Why don't we have
there
deal
is
with Ultra Pro?
There is or I think there is a donation reward tier that gets you slaves.
Yes, you are correct. So let's see. We got Leia, and there's Luke's lightsaber onto Luke. He goes and searches out 3PO.
All things considered, this is not as bad for Ming as I think we thought it might be.
I mean, Veers is a forfeit value 8. So
yeah, so like he's not going to lose the Blizzard Walker, probably.
No, but like we were saying though, losing. I mean, the biggest issue is that he's not getting Destiny. So both those characters are going to stick around.
Yes.
Now he is going to be able to drain for free, but I mean, the Chimera is sitting over at Kessel still and not Kashyyyk. Okay. And even like, okay, so with Luke there and Leia there, and Ming again forgets to pull. Oh, he does have secret plans on the table.
Yeah.
We did see Cal retrieve one.
Retrieving the perimeter scan. I don't know if Ming has another trample, so it may not matter, but
yeah. There goes the escape pod off the top. So Ming will get +3 to his power. However, Cal's going to get +5. And that's, I believe, 14 to...
Be 14 to 13.
Yeah, 14. Blizzard 8 is what, 7 power?
I thought it was. Maybe it's not.
There's the Rebel leadership. So there's the second Destiny. He does grab.
Cal has already grabbed Imperial Command, so Ming cannot limit it.
Yeah. 4 and a 3, so that's going to crack the immunity of the Walker. That will not cost him the Walker.
Blizzard 8 is 6 power, so it should be 12 total.
Okay.
Against 14 plus 3 is 21.
14 plus 7, so
or 14 plus
21.
7.
Yeah,
it's still 21. It's
21. So down by 9. So yeah, you lose Veers and 1.
Yeah.
There goes the Veers.
Not all that bad considering. Ming should still probably actually draw the Destinies, but he opted not to.
Oh, it's 9 attrition.
Oh.
How is it 9 attrition?
Yeah, wait. Why is it 9 attrition? He said it was a 4 and a 3, right?
Yeah, it was Padme and their TTU.
He could have added one possibly with. I can't believe he's gone, but that still makes it 8, not 9.
Yeah.
Assuming it was Padme.
Yeah, I don't know if
I saw it was a character, but
yeah, it was Padme. She's 3.
I mean, if he added one, then he has to lose 2 force instead of.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Chris is just he's distracted by the Yankees.
They're not playing right now. It's 11 in the morning.
Is it baseball season?
Yeah, opening day was Thursday.
Chris is distracted by the Yankees.
Everything is good right now. They're undefeated. There's nothing to be distracted by. So this is one of the distinctions between the two versions, right? the side tour means that Cal does have the extra lightsaber and potentially access to the gun, right? To lay his blaster rifle. On the other hand, the Like My Father Before Me version, those destinies would have been enough to clear the Blizzard 8 because they would have each been +1 from Like My Father. So like little wrinkles, right? Little wrinkles was in the differences between the versions. You just lose from Force Pile?
I think so. Sorry, I got distracted. Matt Carrilli just trolled me on April Fools.
Losing from Force Pile, that's
Yeah, that's
interesting.
interesting.
Now, on the other hand, like Cal's already used his grabber, right? So the main
No,
thing
that's not
there is to like little Frank.
little.
um, the main
Okay.
like the main thing about not having the force, right, is like you don't have barrier, you can't retrieve with
Mm-hmm.
Lando. Um,
Lottie coming down onto the walker. So it looks like he's
that's
going to give
oh,
up the farm. Uh yep, and he does do that. There goes the Chimera over to Kashyyyk. So now he's starting. I mean, Ming's not in a bad spot, like you were saying, especially now that he's got Elspeth on the table. And unfortunately for Cal, his two biggest threats, or his like all of his big threats are on the table.
see, I don't like this though because this is an easy Cantina shuffle battle.
Okay, that's a good point. Yeah,
Run Luke Run is a deck that could
that's a good
definitely be in
point. I
there.
forgot
So
all about that. You can tell I'm really rusty. I guess
yeah.
getting wiped out in Ohio just like destroyed me.
Now, on the other hand, right, Elspeth is there, so Master Luke won't be as devastating as it could be.
True.
Um, but yeah, like Ray and Lando is still a good attacking squad even without adding anything to it, and it seems like a cow can add something to it.
Yeah.
Like imagine like a Hera here. That could be pretty gross though.
So here's my real question. If Obi-Wan community, again, it has shown a lot of promise in the last OCS since it came out. And we were saying that it might be like the big deck at this event for Lightside. What do you do to it?
I mean, I don't know that you have to do anything to it per se. So that's the thing, right? Like it was like Thrawn, twice as popular as any other deck played this month in OCS.
Oh, there goes
Um,
that a fun card. Ming loses I've lost R2 from the
mm,
top.
and Gick. Oh no,
And Gick. Yeah.
peeling your Gick
It's
is never good.
no, it isn't.
Um,
It's
but
almost as bad as having to use the Gick to cancel Nabrin and then having it sensed.
I wasn't going to say anything. Um,
What
but
what
what I
what
was
are you referring to?
what I was looking at, what I was looking at here is like your although Obi-Wan community was twice as popular, it was winning at a 53% clip, which is certainly good. I don't know that it's problematic good though. And like especially if you look down like dark side, Rops was a 71% winning deck. Like
Yeah, Rops is pretty good still.
yeah. So I guess what I'm saying is like I don't know that you have to do anything to Obi-Wan community necessarily. Like I would be interested to see if the meta evolves and how it adjusts to beat this deck. Because I think it
Mhm.
can. So, but we'll see. Because it is such a like small increments advantage deck, like I don't think killing I can't believe he's gone does a whole lot. Like it does something, but it's not like oh this card's it's not like Shadows of the Empire was for Agents of the Black Sun, right?
Yeah.
Um so
Okay.
it's not like it's not like if we take this card out it's going to change everything. This is bad for Meg. So we got an Anakin Padawan learner. She's going to add one to all the battle lesson draws, of which there's going to be 3 because
Yeah, Hera
Hera got
coming
added.
down.
We saw Cal lost to Return of the Jedi from his drain last turn, so he could have another Return of the Jedi for 4 battle destinies. Jane Up, you're right. There's a sampling thing with Rops. I mean, I looked down the list though. Like Invasion was a 75% deck too, Like,
Well, yeah, and I'm gonna say the new allies have been like playing that thing a lot. So
yeah.
we do have some of the deck stats right now from our deck analyst James Martin. Right now, 30 decks have been entered. What would you say? What would you think is the most played light side?
Obi-Wan communing.
Yes, it has. There are 10 people playing it. That's insane. The
Yeah.
next closest deck are both are they have no idea we're coming at 3 and
Ooh,
0 hour at 3.
10 out of 30. Yeah. So
That's pretty pretty nasty. Like
what just what just happened? He picked up a
uh
trample out of his lost pile. That's not how that art works. Oh no. That is how it works. He picked up the trample because
he studied
he played History, Art, Philosophy Lost.
and he allowed himself to because he studied a
Yeah,
interrupt. So
yeah.
really good play by Ming.
Except that trample missed.
Yeah,
That's a problem.
that's a problem. Uh, what do you think is the most played dark side? Now this is the fun one.
Hunt down V.
No, you're close.
Hunt down non V.
No. Give you one last guess. As Ming is
Vader rots. Vader Revenge of the Sith.
actually no, but we do have the answer in the chat. Bring him before
And
me,
bring
I
him
think.
before me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
8 players are playing Bring Him Before Me.
I can't. Oh, wait.
There's
Why would? Wait. No. Why did you keep the one? You can redraw it with Hera. Wait, can you? Oh
yeah.
no, you can't.
No, there's only 2.
Because
Yeah.
you can't. No, you can't because there's only 2 rebels and Anakin adds one, so it's actually a 2. How funny. Uh, doesn't
uh
doesn't matter. Probably not. That's still like 13. Oh no,
yeah. No, and
no,
with
it's a run Luke run, so
yeah, Elspeth is hit, so she's forfeit 0. So Ming's gonna have to
should
lose.
be 14, 15 total battle destiny, 16 total battle destiny. Should kill everything,
That's
right?
yeah, and we know that the Gick is in the lost pile.
I don't think he's gonna have to peel
No, I mean the Maudie is forfeit 8. The Walker's forfeit
6.
6 or 7. Let me hit up the
7.
Scump.
It's forfeit 7. It's forfeit 7. It was run Luke run in a 5 as the red card for battle destiny, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So 12, 15, 16 total battle destiny. And
Interesting side note, Chris Schoenthal, our Hall of Famer Chris Schoenthal and tournament advocate Chris Schoenthal has reported that there are 2 Invasion versus QMC matchups going on right now, and they're both at adjacent tables.
Jeez.
I love this game.
This is actually what I was saying. The invasion, and it's not like a junk stat either. Invasion was the 5th most played deck in the OCS.
Yeah.
Sixth most played deck in the OCS last month. And Invasion, I played my Obi-Wan community against Invasion, and it didn't feel close. I got destroyed.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're just mega stacking. Okay. Now it makes sense that the mega stack at Mos Eisley because then you can do Cantina Shuffle and do all your stuff. So it makes sense. Now, I wonder, I feel like one of the tricky things for Cal here is he must be concerned, I think, about finding Hunter the Falcon. He did retrieve it. So in theory, he could track it, but he has to, right? He has to find it.
Yeah.
I'm even thinking that, like, big picture wise, I don't know that I liked Ming's line here. Because it certainly seemed like deploying to Tatooine was reliant on trample working.
Mm-hmm.
Like trample needed to work for that play to be good.
Yeah. And unfortunately for him, he had both the trample against Lando. I mean, Cal had the perimeter scan,
yeah.
and then he missed on the second one. So that really hurts him.
I mean, the second trample I don't think mattered that much.
No.
He was going to lose everything anyway.
Yeah, he looks like he's going to go get no escape. I mean, the one thing that he could do, I mean, I would have liked to have seen Ming set up in space and start going and play resistance. Like I know that Cal can drain you for 2 and 3, but 2 and 2 is a little bit better.
Yeah, my preferred line against Obi-Wan commuting as Thrawn, I think, is to set up in space, like you said, because you use alert your Star Destroyers. So you kind of got to play your Star Destroyers when you can, when the match is
Mm-hmm.
there. But then to find a window to satisfy decree non-V.
Yeah, that's the other thing. And all you need to do is control a site. It doesn't have to be a non-battleground or a battleground site. You can just go down to, oh, I don't know, your bridge.
Yeah. This though is one of the reasons that I like I'm kind of enjoy playing the arrest order because you can like put anybody at the Coruscant docking bay against Obi-Wan commuting. And
Yeah,
like
I mean, I understand that, but I mean, with like, I mean, Lightside still plays the Jedi Council chamber. I mean, there are ways to,
Obi-Wan commuting usually doesn't.
yeah, Obi-Wan community doesn't,
Well,
but
I'm not saying you would do that. I'm saying like in this matchup, right? Like having a cup two different non-battleground planet sites you can go to that you can control that Lightside doesn't get a lot out of taking from you, right? Like the Coruscant docking is a drain one, like whatever. So it gives you a little bit more ways to satisfy decree non-B, which to me I like as a way to kind of handle what Obi-Wan's doing here. Cause like you
yeah,
play Image of the Dark Lord in the cantina and then like paying for all their drains
yeah,
of one. So
that's a good point. So funny,
Navran incoming. Navran,
so
sorry, Jane. Yeah, he wasn't talking about or no, you're right. The bridge doesn't work because it's not a plant site.
oh, you're
There
right.
there is a 2L Lothal site though. So like this the
Yeah,
starting one on the left there. Dark side can deploy to, and light still needs a spy or to move in or whatever. So
thank you, Jared.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, looking at like the deck lists that are in, like no real big surprises. We do, I mean, actually no, the one big surprise is there's only one player play Prophet. We do have a hidden base. We have Watch Your Step, one player playing Anakin Skywalker Saga.
Only one?
Yeah.
Wow.
Two Obi-Wan or two Yoda communings.
Yeah.
So I mean, Lightside feels like there's good options for it, but at the same time, it's just like it's like everybody knows there's one clear deck. Whereas
Well,
with Dark Side, like there's one TTO, and that's our good buddy Bill Kafer. Um, but there's Invasion, Thrawn, Set Your Course for Alderaan is being there. Bring It Before Me, Hunt Down V, Shadow Collective is seeing play, Map. Like, actually, no, there's two TTOs today. Sorry.
see, and I know this is probably this may be an unpopular take, but I actually like when the meta is a little more centralized. Like I haven't decided if this is the level of centralized that I like. Um, but so anyway, the reason I say that is because it focuses your deck choices, right?
Mm-hmm.
It gives you a lane that you can aim for and feel like you're doing the meta correctly, right? Like if you can go in here feeling like, okay, if my light side deck can't beat Obi-Wan commuting, then I shouldn't spend that much time on that because
Yeah.
that's probably not a great call. But it means that you're focused on, okay, which dark side decks do I have that beat Obi-Wan commuting? You find those and you go, okay, which of these is best against the other decks that people might play, and then
Mm-hmm.
you can kind of narrow it in. Whereas even just a couple of months ago, it kind of felt like the problem to me was that someone would ask, like one of the Colorado guys who hasn't played a lot and was going to play in our league event asked me like what should I play, and I was like, I don't know, what do you like? Like you can kind of play anything, which is like fine, but also means like if you want to feel
Mm-hmm.
like you're prepared for a tournament, it's really hard. It's really
Yeah.
hard to come in and go, okay, I'm figure out my dark side deck. I got to beat Old Allies. I got to beat No Idea. I got to beat QMC. I got to beat Saga. I got to beat Communing. And you're like, I run out of I can't I can't prepare a deck that beats all of those things. So you kind of feel a little helpless in your meta prep. That's why I kind of like this a little more. Now, the pendulum can swing too far, right? You can get to the 80% of the field is playing Agents of Black Sun and TRM because it beats Agents of Black Sun, right? Like you can, like that's not good either.
That's a good
So
meta.
it so it's a tricky balancing act, right? And this is one of the reasons that I'm like, I kind of hope they don't like a hammer doesn't get dropped on Obi-Wan communing because the tape indicating the border of the coverage area just wrecked Cal's lost pile. Well, since I hope that R&D will allow us to kind of explore a meta that's a little more centralized like this. And just so we kind of get to see all the things, right? Like we had a couple of months with a meta that was super wide open, and now we have one where there's a best deck, but how much best deck is it, right? Like even going down the list, 0 Hour won at a higher percentage than Communing did last month. Go further down the list, Yoda Communing won at a way higher percentage. So,
and I'm surprised that only 2 players are playing Yoda Communing. And funny enough, they're Batmouse and Carl.
Yeah.
Like, and I'll tell you what, Carl played Yoda Communing at the Columbus local last weekend and just wrecked. Like, it wasn't even close. Like, I think he came in 3rd, but I think that was more because of his dark side, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But like him and I talked afterwards, and hopefully he takes like some of the stuff that we talked about into the game, because like he played, like I said, it was a really good deck.
Yeah, well, and the interesting thing too is like you got Obimuning and you've got Yoda Muning and you've got Saga, right? Like you're like, oh, it's just all mains. Like, well, but those 3 main decks play really differently. And that is one of the things I like a lot about Obi-Wan Communing is it plays really differently than the full immunity mains that we were seeing a lot last year.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, I'm so glad we got rid of those full immunity mains.
Yes. Yeah, full immunity mains that are hard to hit with lightsabers. Like, how are we clearing these guys? How are we doing anything? How are we interacting? Turns out the answer was playing 8 copies of BB9. So glad we've moved away from
8
all of
copies
that.
of BB9. Now players are playing, but yeah, now we still have entire Legion of Your Best Troops to play 5 copies of R6's Blaster Rifle.
Yeah. Was anybody playing a 9s deck today?
I don't know, because the stats that I'm showing are Rops
Archetypes.
V is still there, but it's only the Architect.
Yeah.
I think if one player is playing it, it's going to be Greg Shaw, because he has played it before.
He has, yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not the easiest deck to pilot, but at the same time, if you can pilot it and you pilot it well, like Greg, you can do pretty well things with, like, you pretty good things with it.
Yeah. Chris Werfs did the same thing at Worlds. So now this deploy I like. Putting Blizzard 8, is that a white bordered Veers?
I believe so, and it's okay. Blizzard 1. I like, see, Blizzard 1 I find that needs to be in this meta right now, just because it gives you that protection against under attack.
It gives you protection against under attack, and it's close to immune to Leia's Blaster Rifle.
Yeah.
Like Lightside has to track a 7 with I can't believe he's gone in order to hit you.
Well, not the hardest thing being that you play 3PO and 2 copies of like Luke's Bionic Hand.
Yeah, but it takes work, right? Whereas like Blizzard 8, right, is defense 6. Like, yeah, you can kind of just shoot blind and you got pretty good odds.
Not really. I mean, you still want to use the Sorry About the Mess combo version, just so you can add.
But yeah, like Mess combo has some cancelers. So like, yeah, yes, it's possible to hit Blizzard 1 with it, but that means that if you have Blizzard 1 and a imbalance combo, you feel pretty safe, right?
Yeah.
Like they're not going to be able to shoot you. They're going to have to do attrition stuff.
Yeah, and Jared points out in the chat it does add 3.
Yeah,
you just don't want to see the ceasefire or an imbalance combo. And I like playing ceasefire like right now. Like I feel like it's a decent card. People are starting to shift from Hear Me Baby Hold Together to Perimeter Scan, which means that we might see some more ceasefire, being that light side lightsabers are a big thing.
Yeah, so you say that, but last week I played Hear Me Baby a bunch of times to like for not the shield effects, for actual game text effect. But I think it's true in general. Like one of the things of the Obimuning deck, right, is as far as meta centralization. playing CCT is real tricky right now.
Yeah.
Same with Court. Like playing a deck that plays on Tatooine that's vulnerable to Master Luke V is that's a
Yeah.
sketchy proposition
Yes,
right
it
now.
is.
Like unless you just are absolute master with those decks, I don't think I would bring him.
Yeah,
But
Jeremy points out none shall pass is a thing. And
mm,
like look at a player like Joker King who plays Court. He plays it really well. And in a meta with Master Luke, he has that ability. Being at that Kendall has switched from Court to bring him before me tells you that like Court might not be the best option. So we do have a battle against Vader and Hera. So it looks like Vader is with or Luke with lightsaber is there. Vader is hit. I'm assuming that Hera's game text is canceled.
that would be my guess.
Yeah. Funny enough, Kendall did play Court at the Coruscant local or the Corellia local last week. I unfortunately dodged his Court, but I had to play against his light side hidden base in the Boo Starfighter deck that just wrecked me against Thrawn.
Well, and like you can play None Shall Pass, but like this deck has Rey, it has Anakin, it has Padme, like it has non-Jedi, it has non-rebel characters.
But those are the big three. That's it.
Yeah, but you're playing like 2 copies of most of them, aren't you?
I don't know. I mean, like, okay, you play 2 copies, but you need to have those in your hand.
No, but the other thing, right, is the deck also plays Run Luke Run. So like the deck plays so this is the other thing. The deck plays Run Luke Run, and the deck does not deploy, like it doesn't deploy any of its Tatooine locations until its turn. So against CCT, right, like CCT can't keep the audience chamber away from being adjacent to a Tatooine site.
No, well, yes, right? It can. Well, no, I mean it can't. But I'm saying
no, it can't.
What you do is you just put down so you just put down the dungeon in between their exterior site and the audience chamber. You wait.
But that means you have to hold the dungeon until after turn 1, which means that you're vulnerable to getting attacked on turn 1, right? Like they can Run Luke Run in, and they can be set up on you on your turn 1, and you have your battle canceller, but right.
Yeah, it looks like
there was a handshake.
There was a handshake.
I would guess Ming had.
Let's get confirmation from our man on the inside.
Anyway, all of this to say.
I was gonna say we have a man on the inside. Let's go ahead and unmute him, and then maybe we'll get a interview with the winner really quick. Oh,
it was Anita.
Advantage on Luke, and that's where the scoop was. That's insane, and I love it.
Yep. That'll do it.
That's why Phil was asking in the chat, what odds will you give me on Advantage being forgotten? None, because they scooped.
Yeah, it's like apparently it being forgotten was pretty likely. So
forgotten by us.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you would distract me with having another conversation about something else. So
we need to stop that. We need to pay attention. Garrett, again, I don't know if you can hear us, Garrett, if you're paying attention to me.
Based on the hand cam, it doesn't look like.
So the players are going to be having they're going to go outside, enjoy the fresh air, the cold air, and some death sticks. So while we'll take a short break, we'll see if we can get the winner on air, talk about the decks, talk about the plays, and let's talk about that advantage, because holy crap, that is just spicy and I love it.
Yeah, advantage is a good one. I mean, so the other advantage of a I must be allowed to speak deck
is
that you can run a whole I didn't even mean to do that. Is that you can run a lot of really tricky stuff because you can pick it out when you need to.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's one of the reasons that I really enjoyed playing that Hitco shield busting deck that MHT so graciously introduced the community to. Is that you can line up things like use your use pile pull to get beggar and stuff like
beggar, Gunita.
Yeah. Oh man.
Revo.
I mean, my Custling showed us, right? It's still good, even if your opponent knows it's coming. It still can be good. So, was anybody playing Hitco?
No.
Yeah.
Yes, so we're gonna talk to Cal here. Let me go ahead and unmute the Garrett. Oh, hold on. I can do that. I'm like, wait, I'm trying to unmute Garrett. Oh yeah. So let's talk to okay, let's talk to Cal. Cal, are you there? Hey
Hey,
Cal,
Cal.
how's it going? So how does it feel to play in-person Star Wars? Mm-hmm.
We all assumed that you did. We weren't counting.
One second.
Add power. Got it.
One second, everybody. I have to fix this because we're not getting Cal on.
Oh.
We should be able to hear you. Can't hear Cal. I don't know why. Cal, are you near one of the webcams? One second. Okay. Go ahead and talk for me, Cal. Okay. I don't know what is going on here, but yeah.
Yeah, you definitely are.
You're in the call with us, but I think it's our computer at the over there.
Can you say it again?
Computer on site.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we can mess around with that later on. And
Yeah. Can you go into of course. Can Mr. Aldred, can I have you go into the room again? The room you just came from. Yeah. In the stream room. Sorry. Are you in that room? Okay. Okay, 1 second. Let's do this then. Oh, there we go. Try now. Nope, that's
all
not
right.
it. Try now.
Hello, hello, hello.
Can you guys hear Cal?
Yeah, chat. You'll have to let us know if you can hear him now.
Can you hear me talking?
Bill, you're there.
All right.
There he is. We got him. Okay. We got him. Okay.
All right.
There we go. So, Cal, how does it feel to play in-person Star Wars? I know that you said you took a little bit of a break.
I mean, I guess I was there at the last event, but it's still been been a few months. So it's always good to kind of get back on the horse, so to speak. Definitely some rust to shake off in the beginning stages, but yeah, it was fun. I mean, I like the Obimuning Thrawn matchup. I think is pretty good for Obimuning, fortunately.
Yeah, I was gonna say, was that a matchup you were expecting?
It was, yeah.
So why did you go with the Obi commuting? Is it just because it's the best deck right now?
Yeah, just by far the best deck. Has lines against everything. Like, it's a mains deck, but also just can just like generate massive damage by effectively just being at one site. It's just pretty. Master Luke is so good right now against like basically everything.
So we do have a question for you in the chat, and take this how you want. What is with the white border cards, but with the black border slip on top?
Well, yeah, it's not only black border slips, but black and white slips. So the good news is I've like basically acquired I basically bought a bunch of cards off of Joe, so that I'll basically bought most of his extras so that I'll actually have a collection now. The downside of that is that none of my cards were prepared or built for decks or anything going into this weekend because most of them were coming from him. So
Okay.
so I had to
So-
like print. I had to just whatever cards given, and then I had to go print like black border slips from the hotel black and white printer.
Okay, so you
so
waited until the last minute, is what I'm hearing.
Yes, but part of it wasn't. I mean, I guess I could have like pre-printed all the slips and then brought them with me and then cut them out. But I didn't have the opportunity to like build the deck beforehand because I didn't have the physical cards. So
Okay. Will you continue that trend, or will you
I
fix
certainly plan not to. One of my tasks for this summer probably will be like printing out and like because I'll like at least inner sleeve for fit all the cards and then have the sleeves for the virtual cards in them already. So
Okay.
There you go.
That'll
Chris Kelly
be-
would approve.
that's my that'll be a plan. So yeah, I'll probably just trash all of the black and white slips. Although maybe for you, Surgeon, I'll leave it on just the escape pods. Maybe for you, just the white border escape pod with black and white black border slip. Maybe I'll leave that there just for you.
I don't think anybody has an issue with the white border cards. Like I know Ryan is just like he loves it. He gave you mad props in the chat for it. I think the biggest issue is the fact that you're mixing the black and the white slips and cards.
I don't know about nobody has an issue with the white border cards.
There's definitely a diversity of opinion on the topic.
There is a
Yeah.
huge diversity in the community on white border versus black border cards. I say just play what you got. If you got a white border card, use the white border card. You got a black border card, play with black border card.
That's exactly where I'm at.
Now, if you have foils, you should be playing with foils because foils are the best way to go.
I think I hard disagree on that one because
Yeah.
there's definitely tracking implications on. It's just I have foil cards. I'll play foil cards if there's the only ones I have, but I try to make them as random and like as ink frequent as possible.
Okay.
Can you tell us you think you got anything spicy for Dark Side, or kind of just like typical but good?
Oh yeah, my dark side is as bland as it gets.
Okay.
Your dark side's what?
My
As
dark
bland
side
as
is
it gets.
as bland as it gets.
So
it's,
Joe
it's,
built
it's
you a
probably
land deck.
within 57 cards of what we just played.
Well.
Good time. So, how does it feel to be out in Minnesota?
It is very cold and snowy here, which is not what I was hoping for in April, coming from California. So, I'm just gonna be honest.
Yeah, it's a big change of pace.
There's like
moving
6
from-
inches of snow on the ground. It all came in last night.
I was gonna say, have you ever seen 6 inches of snow before?
Dude, I grew up in Michigan.
Oh, that explains a lot. So
yes.
we did see in the meta that today there's 10 copies of Obi-Wan Communing. What are your thoughts on that?
That sounds low. That's my take on it. Well, because I know there are 5 of that means there are only 5 people outside of Team 5 not playing Obi.
Oh, wow.
Which sounds low.
That
So
actually does
all
sound
of
low to
Team
me.
5 is on Obi-Wan Communing.
Yeah, because it's.
So what
you
I'm
just
hearing
saw.
is-
I piloted only okay, and it just has matchup wins because just favored against almost everything.
So what I'm hearing is we need to not have Team 5 on stream today.
When they're playing Dark Side, it's probably fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
our dark sides are actually all. I think we might all be playing different dark sides almost.
Okay, so we can have you on for Dark Side. That's it.
But yeah, we'll all. I'm sorry if I ruined the. Yeah, otherwise if you have Team 5 on stream, light side, you'll be getting Obimuning all day.
No, I would rather have. I would
But you
rather
should.
know this in
There's
advance.
one. I don't know if. I don't think the card got shown on stream. I don't think it did. But there's one particularly spicy card in the list that would be very fun if it was caught on stream. So.
Not advantage.
I mean, that one's only kind of spicy. This is spicier than Advantage, but Advantage is.
I was going to say,
Advantage is great.
Phil kind of like ruined the Advantage for us. He was like, he asked what are the odds are that people forget about Advantage, and clearly, the odds were 100% because Ming unfortunately scooped right after seeing the Advantage.
Yeah, when I'm able to do 8 from effectively being at one location, that's rough. Drain 3, ping 2 is hard to. and it can have all my characters, like every main in the deck stacked at one location. I thought about not using I Can't Believe He's Gone on Hera, but I was like, because it's kind of like a lame use of it, but like I hadn't used it before, so it was like, why not just keep her around?
Yeah, especially against an all Imperial deck.
Yeah.
Okay, well, good job on the win, sir. Hopefully we'll see some good things for you for the rest of the day. But I think we'll let you go for right now. Good luck. Have
Thank
fun.
Yeah, sounds good.
Allow as many reverses as you want, except for against Kendall.
That is how it works.
Okay, everybody. So again, that was Cal Aldred after game 1. We'll have more action from the U.S. Nationals here in a little bit. So we'll be back in a little bit. But in the meantime, go ahead and stay tuned for some more Deck Tech videos produced and edited by one of the many produced and edited by Kendall Hallman. So we'll be back in a little bit, everybody.
Hey there, Star Wars players. I'm Kendall Hallman, and today I'm going to talk about Court of the Vile Gangster. Court is a deck that originated in Enhanced Jabba's Palace that lets you play all of the best bounty hunters and aliens. Based on Tatooine, its key benefits include a +2 to forfeit of all your bounty hunters, the ability to deploy independent starships and docking bays from your reserve deck, and making your opponent lose a force at the end of their deploy phase if they don't come after you on Tatooine. Weirdly, you lose the ability to pull the ships and docking bays if you flip, so most decks stick on the 0 side of the objective. Still, it's a thematic deck that can hold its own on ground and in space, and play fan-favorite characters from Boba Fett to Jabba to Mara Jade. The typical list starts prepared defenses with Wipe Them Out All of Them, Jabba's Haven V, and Battle Order and First Strike. Additional activation will be the Passenger deck, pulled by Twi'lek Advisor V, Nal Hutta, pulled by Jabba's Haven V, and 2 non-battleground docking bays. I suggest Coruscant and Mustafar. Mustafar is especially important because it has my name on it. For characters, depending on playstyle and personal preference, the deck could run as few as 20 or as many as 37 characters. Scum and Villainy limits the deck's character selection to aliens and droids. Key characters include Jabba the Hutt V, who pulls Scum and Villainy, Lady Proxima, who helps get those low destiny characters out of your deck and into your hand, Bounty Hunters to take advantage of the forfeit bonus, droids to protect you from Leia Rebel Princess, good pilots like Woof V, and characters that protect Jabba like Velkan Tazari. Starships almost always include Ellison Hinthra and Jabba's Space Cruiser, as well as some combination of Dengar and Punishing One, Zuckuss and Mist Hunter, Stinger, and any other decent independent ship you can think of. Red cards are mostly cards to help in battle, like Hidden Weapons and Jabba's Through With You, as well as defensive cards like Imperial Barrier, None Shall Pass, and Stunning Leader. Note on None Shall Pass, always consider how many rebels you expect in the meta when deciding whether and how many copies to play. Starting the game, you will usually want to get Jabba out on your first turn to pull Scum and Villainy, making your aliens deploy -1 and allowing you to retrieve 2 every time you initiate battle. Just be careful and make sure you have some protection in hand, especially against a mains deck. If you have any doubt that you can hold the site, don't be afraid to lose a force to your objective the first turn. Most games, you'll pull Nal Hutta and a docking bay for activation, but in some matchups where your opponent plays exactly one system, you won't want to deploy Nal Hutta if you think you can win with your space package and don't want to give Lightside a place to run. With so many characters deploying for -1, it's very easy to over-deploy with this deck. Remember that as important as it is for you, the audience chamber is only a drain of 1. So if your opponent can set up on their own turf, you'll need to be able to come after them. Depending on the matchup, your opponent may go all in at the audience chamber, completely ignore the audience chamber, or somewhere in between. With practice, you'll be able to identify the threat and respond appropriately. In space, you want to stack as many characters with relevant game text and or high forfeit as you can. If played right, Court can win in space, or at least force the opponent to commit more resources than they would like, and then lose the damage race. In general, Court is a straightforward, well-rounded deck that's great for new players and veterans alike. It's rarely the best deck in the meta, but it's also almost always in the conversation. If you're concerned about the cost of cards, it's relatively affordable aside from Boba Fett Bounty Hunter, P-59, and Force Push, but those are all pretty good cards to have in your collection anyway. Chris Kelly will often talk about how the best thing in Star Wars CCG is swinging lightsabers with Jedi. Court does the one thing that's even better. It kills Jedi with bounty hunters.